Am I on? Yes.
Yes. Okay. Hello and welcome to the Big Bang Theory podcast, episode number 13. My name's John. I'm here with my friend and colleague, Dan.
Hello.
So, Dan, it was a return to form at St James Park. City beating Oldham Athletic 1-0.
Yeah, that's about right. I think quite similar to the Stevenage kind of game. Same lineup.
Yeah.
And, similar kind of way that we played, but just didn't concede in this one, so even better.
Great. They finding some kind of sense of purpose again?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
First half, a little bit, maybe, definitely more urgency than we've seen in recent kind of like not so great performances and results, but like, and we not held on for a bit, but like Oldham were much more in it for the first half of the game, and then second half it's not like we were all over them, but we were easily on top and like well worth the goal when it came.
Okay, we had quite a lot of chances, right?
Yeah, second half we had an awful lot. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's that man Bowman again with the winner.
There he is, 5-5.
I mean, that's just what we needed.
Yeah, and a kind of reasonable amount of settling in time, and then the goals start coming. So fair play.
Oh, well, absolutely, that could be very valuable over the next few weeks if the season doesn't end next week. So, I mean, you were there. I've watched the highlights. Did it look like we wanted it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
We've had some games in the last month or so, haven't we? Where does anyone even want this promotion? And we saw a friend of ours at the Lemon Grove establishment, if you're familiar with it, friends, and he was fully on board with the old conspiracy, which I haven't heard in a couple of years. Of we don't want promotion, we lose money, etc., etc.
Nonsense.
Well, clearly nonsense. We're not conspiracy theorists here on the Big Bang Theory, but at least this will shut those people up. I don't even know who those people are. I can't believe there's many of them. I'm still sure that our friend was just winding us up, as he's very good at doing.
Yeah, I'm not even particularly familiar with that conspiracy theory thing. No, but
this is the dark web,
obviously not.
The dark X web. If you delve down deep enough, you find those conspiracies.
I've not downloaded the appropriate software.
Probably for the best. It's a dank place down there. But you occasionally hear this stuff. Oh, it costs us too much to get promoted. Why would we want to do that? Wembley's rubbish anyway. I'd rather for mid-table mediocrity. Or not I'd rather, but that's what the club wants. And it's clearly an absolute fallacy. But at least they were nervous. It was a nervous performance at points, was it, City?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, at periods in the first half, a couple of really good saves from Pim.
Okay,
which means that obviously the Oldham were well in there for a bit. But I don't know about how nervous we were. We seemed fairly comfortable. Okay, I think, especially in the second half. But,
we had some good shots from outside the box first half. Looked like we kind of were. Picking up on their errors and kind of pushing forwards. That was good. Yeah, I want to talk about...
There's a decent chance Jake Taylor, and he was unlucky really, just wide, but...
Was he better?
He's good, yeah.
Okay, good.
Like, and he's not... I think in that position that he's playing, he's not... It's not really an eye-catching performance, like for the job he's doing, but he did do the things that he's there to do well. He does pick up the ball and move it on quickly. He does try and look forward. And, you need people in there doing that kind of thing. And he did get in and around and had a few shots. He probably could have done a bit better with the shooting, but,
Okay. Well, that's good to see. And I think, hopefully, goodness knows what's going to happen in the next week. Of course, in a week's time, listeners will know exactly what our seasons look like. Goodness knows what is going to happen. But if we can just... If our worst case scenario is we finish the season looking like there is promise there, that would be really good. I think if we'd finished the season a week ago, before Stevenage, we would feel like, oh, what's the next season going to look like?
Yeah, or if we'd lost, on Saturday, it's gone.
Yeah,
maybe. It's a bit, I don't want to sound like your man Paul Tisdale, but found myself.
He's not my man, listeners.
Getting a bit.
He's not my man.
Getting a bit sort of philosophical about the whole thing, and it was like, well, it was a good performance. I was glad we got the win. And it was like, it was a bit like, if this doesn't happen this season, then yeah, you haven't got much choice, but like I'm okay with it because there is some signs of kind of like, promise there for next season. Like definitely, we don't know what the team's going to look like. Almost certainly, like pretty different because it always does. People moving on, people coming in, but I think it's definitely like cause for optimism there.
Okay, so I mean, we're definitely feeling more optimistic. That's not a word. We're definitely feeling better about it all than our cousins down the road, our Cornish cousins. Derek Adams literally was sacked in the morning.
Wow, wow, wow. 5-1.
Dear me. I mean, goodness. So whatever happens for City, at least overall it's been a positive thing this year. I think that Argyle, surely the misery's starting to set in for them.
Although they may well not go down.
They may well not go down, but it's not been a roaring success for them, has it?
No.
Especially a club their size. So we'll take solace in that. And I would think that will give Forest Green a good go on Saturday. That's our final fixture, our final planned fixture of the season. Forest Green away this coming Saturday. We'll give that a good go, I'm sure. And
I hope so. They're a good team, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're good this season, and they can score goals. They're in really good form, apart from, I think they lost on Saturday, didn't they? But still scored 3 goals. And before that, won 4 on the bounce. So, and, I think they're in the playoffs, aren't they, no matter what?
Yeah.
So, slightly less to play for than us, but I don't think we should even really factor that in.
No.
I don't think we should be going, but they're safe up there, aren't they? So they're not going to bother. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be a game like any other in the season where they're going to be trying to win as much as we are.
That's right.
So we need to carry the sort of the form of the last 2 games into that. And I think if we do and we play like that, and perhaps if we're a little bit more clinical, there's no reason why we can't get a result.
I believe that by the time you guys are listening to this, we'll have sold all of our ticket allocation. So we'll be taking over 1,000 people to that weird ground, which is basically the football equivalent of a thatched cottage, isn't it? So that'll be, we'll go and we'll make a real fuss. And like you said, Forest Green, although they'll still be playing for something, they're already in the playoffs and they can't get automatics.
Yeah.
Of course...
word of warning, don't wear leather products, leather shoes or leather jackets because you won't be allowed in. Forest Green policy.
Leave the bear's head that you fashioned into a hat at home.
Yep.
That won't go down well. And those slippers that are in fact ducks' feet, don't wear them.
No, I'm always seeing people wearing them on the Big Bang. And don't leave yourself disappointed. You've already paid for your ticket, so don't blow it.
You don't want to be turned away. Well, that'll be Saturday. Of course, by then, other things may be out of our hands because of our fairly disastrous Easter weekend. It totally depends on what happens with Newport, who against the odds, against the odds, managed to beat champion. They kept saying champions Lincoln. If you read the Newport stuff, they're obviously well chuffed for themselves, and why not? They managed to beat Lincoln, who've
and sort of getting in their own players' heads in a good way, I suppose. They're in the fans, just like I mean, so pretty good in incentive, isn't it?
Absolutely.
But come on, Oldham.
So they play Oldham on Tuesday. That's right. So
I'm not filled with confidence in Oldham to beat Newport, especially at Rodney Parade.
Rodney's Parade.
At Rodney's Parade, because difficult place to go. Oldham didn't look like they were up to much, and now they're up to nothing because they've got nothing to play for at all. As in, they're not getting in the playoffs. They're not going down. The season is over.
Yeah,
they just had kind of like shuffle through these last 2 games, and then nothing changes for them. So
yeah, indeed. Let's hope that the players need something to play for their contracts, because then Newport play the fairly inept Morecambe on Saturday. All the other teams, there are still 4 teams that can overtake us, Newport being one of them. But apart from Newport, if we win our game, they'll stay below us.
Yeah, it is disappointing in it that we've handed it back to them, and that sort of our destiny isn't in our own hands, because it well could have been. I know that's the way it goes at this level, and that perhaps we're not quite the team that should have been as high up as we are, or any higher than we are. It's not like we are, over the course of the season, we deserve to be in those playoff places and we were robbed. It's about right.
We've been beaten by, I think, all the teams above us.
Yeah.
Definitely been beaten by Lincoln, definitely been beaten by Milton Keynes, Bury, Tranmere, Forest Green all beat us at home, so, Mansfield too. So I think you're probably right. But I'm sticking with the hope that we'll do something weird that we haven't done the last 2 years, of approach the playoffs looking like a pig's ear and coming out of it looking like a pig's crown.
That's a strange... yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, pig's crown. Cool. But yeah...
You never said that?
You never know. Do you? I mean... Yeah, what you mean is the last couple of years we've been like... We've flown into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then...
Well, we've just missed out on automatics, haven't we, of course?
Yeah, and then let ourselves down on the final day. It'll be a sort of reversal of that.
Indeed it will. And, that... I really think if we, as we inevitably will, if we get 7th place, we'll play one of the teams that missed out on automatics.
Yeah.
And it could be any of them. Still, Bury, least likely, they play again Tuesday, so they've got a game in hand. But Mansfield and MK and Tranmere, whoever we get in the playoffs, they'll be feeling like, our season could have been over now and we could be promoted, and instead we've got to turn out and play these oiks. And that might well do us a favour. And I will say it now, listeners, for absolute posterity, I do not think it will do us any harm at all if we get MK. Because they'll be like, oh no, Wheeler, Harley, Jordan Moore-Taylor will think like, oh really, we've got to go here again? We've got to get this grief again? Tisdale, we saw that he had a meltdown. He had an internet meltdown, listeners, that's even been taken off the internet because they knew it was a meltdown about winter winds or winter sun or whatever it was. They will not want to come to St James Park. They will not want to have to play us.
No, maybe not. Maybe not, although maybe they'll relish it.
They're not a relishing kind.
I don't know if, maybe is Tiz the kind of person who can really whip them up for a big day?
No.
I mean, not from what I remember.
Is he fudge?
But then again, we did there's the semi-final second leg last year against Lincoln at home.
Yep.
They were up for that, so you never know, do you?
You never know.
But I wouldn't be that. I mean, to be honest, if we manage to get into the playoffs, I think all of them are all an equal challenge. They're all good teams.
Yeah.
They're all probably better than us.
Yeah.
They've all beaten us.
Yeah.
We'll have our work cut out for us, whoever it is. But I think going back to Saturday, there was some other really encouraging performances in there. Boateng looked good when he came on for Law. Unfortunately, dead leg, I think, had to go off.
I don't even know what a dead leg is.
Yeah,
I know
he
I
must have been given a dead leg.
Is that literally what he's gone off for?
Yeah.
Because I used to limp around for a bit, Someone
but
gives me
I think it's like a real bad one,
Okay.
Yeah.
Can't feel your toes.
You just can't walk. Yeah. You
Can't control your fingers.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was
okay.
good. And Boateng, when he came on, apart from missing another absolute sitter.
Yeah, that's 2 in 2.
Oh, my word.
Well, just, again, let's go back to the glorious goal. Do you think he's trying to do that? Do you think he forgets where he stood on the pitch? He's got one way of shooting, which is to hoik it. And,
I don't know.
He's trying to do it from 3 yards.
It's baffling. There's 2 inside the 6-yard box, I think, that
they're
he's managed
almost
to miss.
identical positions.
Yeah. But it's harder to miss. It's harder to miss. Anyway.
He did that.
But other than that, I thought he made a bit of a difference coming on, actually. So a little bit more kind of forward thinking than Law, maybe.
Are we
in terms
advocating?
of just turning and running at the opposition.
Because last week we talked about how maybe you can't have those two together, and maybe we're advocating that. Maybe we're saying one off the bench. I mean, Law's never coming off the bench, really, is he? He's great to have at the start.
Yeah.
But to have half an hour with Boateng, maybe that's the thing.
Maybe that's it for now. And I'm not convinced that there isn't a way they can both play in the team together. But maybe with the current setup, maybe that's the way to go. But then again, the current setup is only 1 or 4 more games, isn't it? You know, depending on what happens. So,
or 3.
no,
If we don't win,
no,
the
1 or
semis.
4.
Yeah, or 3. If we don't win the semis.
Oh, or 3. I see what you're saying. Yeah, 1 or 4 or 3 or 2. If
No.
somehow they let us get a
Straight
bye
to the Wembley.
straight to the final.
Well, yeah, there you go. If Bury are wound up, no, they're not up. It's not going to happen. There's not going to be 2 games. There's going to be 1 or 3 or 4.
Yeah, and who else? I mean, another clean
that is
sheet.
maths.
Pim was good. Defence were good. Solid.
Pim, man of the match.
Yeah, because he kept us in it in the first half for sure. You know, and other than that, it wasn't. Who else could have done it? Nelson Randella.
You mean Chopper Williams?
He had an excellent game.
Yeah, an excellent game. Let's talk about this then, because that was a fiery, completely unnecessary.
Yeah, but I like it. Talk about being up for winning. You know, a bit of like desire. I
So
mean, it didn't absolutely unnecessary.
So he got shoved off the ball by an Oldham player. The linesman's already waving his flag enthusiastically, and then Williams comes back and clobbers this fella.
Flies in on him.
Yeah.
Clears him out, and then they get the free kick.
But yellow card for him. So,
But whatever, I didn't mind at all because it just, you know, it showed a bit of like,
Well, yeah.
a bit of desire.
that's
and
kind of
that
what we said
spark
he
in there.
needed, isn't it?
Yeah,
And
totally.
he's been better the last few weeks.
He was really good.
Okay.
And he missed, it came really close on a couple of like kind of curling efforts, and like was just involved. Especially when we can get the ball up to him, and obviously well worth mentioning is Lee Martin. Again, he was all over the place and set up the goal. There's a few times down that left-hand side in the second half where he was like, they just couldn't handle him.
Good to have Martin back.
And, you know, yeah, totally. And he's set up the Boateng chance as well. So it's almost a bit like you can forgive him for thinking that he would have been, in his mind, be like, how many like great balls do I have to put in the box before someone's going to put one away? And then, you know, in the end, Bowman gets one.
Yeah, great.
Really good. From all those front three, especially in the second half, were great. And I think actually in the first half, they weren't quite getting the service they needed. But
Okay.
yeah.
And Bowman coming to form just at the right time. I mean, he's obviously chuffed, as you would be. He's now scored I think he scored 8 this season at Motherwell. So he's kind of hit the run of form that we need. This will be good for him, good for us.
Yeah.
It's the replacement we hoped he might be. Obviously, inevitably, it took a while for him to settle down. Got a ridiculous red card, ate a lot of ice cream.
Yeah, like
He's
I
come
said,
back.
this is I think that's like a kind of like acceptable amount of time. This is acceptable settling in period.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you get someone if you get a goal in your debut, then you can come in flying. But if that doesn't happen, then I think what's he been there like a few months and he's started getting the goals. So.
If he gets that winning goal at Wembley, we'll never even remember that he didn't score.
There'll be a statue, won't there?
I think there would be a
Wouldn't
statue.
be too hard. It sort of looks like he's chiselled out of granite anyway. So like.
He does. That's true. Okay, well, we'll start
Sponsored by
crowdfunder.
MySpace.
Sponsored by MySpace.
I'd like to see the statue of him, but with a kind of like black kind of like fringe,
Like
kind
an
of coming
emo
down,
fringe?
emo fringe coming down, and then sponsored by MySpace.
If anyone knows what MySpace is, I mean,
I do know what it is.
Oh, you do? All right.
I think it's like a building thing, but I don't know.
They must be livid.
Always makes me laugh when it says Ryan Bowman sponsored by MySpace. Don't they know?
Well,
It's
yeah,
like
but
setting up a new company in a few years and calling it, what do you call this? I don't know, Facebook?
it must be
Wasn't
an old.
there a website
No, it
called that?
must be an old company that some old boy's been doing for years, and they're like, "All right, Barry, you heard about this internet thing? No." You're like, yeah, they've started a thing called MySpace. Well, I had it first. What is the internet? It'll be that. Surely
Right,
it will.
maybe, yeah.
Surely
it's
it
all little
will.
kids with sort of dyed black hair.
Oh, I don't care. What's that got to do with me? I don't care. I'm sticking with it. MySpace.
Yeah, maybe. So a little bit like, I always think I'd feel sorry for a kid if he was just called Harry Potter.
Exactly.
Completely normal name.
Yeah.
Like before any of those books came out.
Yeah.
Suddenly it's like, oh, cheers. Like,
Well, of course,
the character
we
of Harry
know.
Potter is created, and then it's like, oh, great.
Well, we know someone called David Brent, don't we?
Yeah, David Brent, another example. Completely normal.
Nightmare.
Yeah,
So maybe it's like that.
I think it's probably like that.
Okay. So anyway, Bowman's statue, the crowdfunder starts now. Chuck in your 10 pence, please.
Yeah.
And we'll erect it.
I don't know, where's there space for it? Red Square. Is that what they call it?
Yeah,
Is that what they call
that would take up most of that, wouldn't it? I'd like to see it on top of the block of flats they're building behind the big bank.
Oh, yeah.
Forever
brilliant.
looking down upon us, Ryan Bowman.
Yeah.
Can we do that, please?
Well, it's not up to me, but
Yes.
I say yes.
Okay, thanks, everyone. See you later. So the Exeter City FC Player and Team Awards happened this past weekend.
Yep.
Obviously, the women's team, great big celebration for them. The recently renamed Mandy Sharp by the City social media team, if not Manfy Sharp, as it should be, got their...
Oh, I think that's got to be an autocorrect, doesn't it?
Absolute autocorrect.
Yeah.
I mean, it must be annoying to be called Manfy, and to that autocorrect to always be happening.
Yeah.
But there we are. She won Player of the Year for them.
I think she won Players Player, did she?
Players Player. Over on the men's team, of course, it was an absolute clear-up. Nicky Law, he didn't have enough hands for the amount of awards he got. There's a classic photo of him trying to do some sort of balancing act with all of them. He looks very chuffed. And
yeah, well-deserved.
Well-deserved. Absolutely well-deserved. I like to think we had a small part in getting him that award.
Well, yeah.
We surely did.
Yeah, definitely.
Influencers. That's what they call us now.
Weirdly, though, I don't know. I've not moved house like recently, but my invitation for the awards actually never turned up. So I don't know what's happened with that.
It'll be there when you get home today, won't it? It just come late.
Yeah, shame, because I hate to think of there being a couple of empty seats there, and for them to think that we didn't want to go.
Well,
But I just never received the invitation.
It must have been embarrassing when they spun around the spotlight to point on us so we could wave, and they're just empty seats.
Yeah, we weren't there. Yeah,
we don't care. We do care.
I know.
We just keep your postal records up to date, please.
Yeah, next season
we'll accept the throne on the stage. That'll be fine.
Yeah. But it looked good, didn't it?
It did look good.
The Great Hall.
Yeah. The greatest hall in Exeter. Other halls are the New Hall, Pinot. No, America Hall, Pinot.
America Hall.
And Tucker's Hall, 4th Street.
Where's that?
It's that medieval one.
Yeah.
You can only visit it for 1 hour a month.
Other halls. There's a lot.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, the Great Hall, the best of them. And there they all were with their awards. Yeah, Nicky Law. And then, of course, Boateng got his goal of the season, unsurprisingly.
Yeah. And there's some...
Miss of the season was an award sadly missing because he could have picked up the double.
He would have won that too. Some interesting sartorial choices.
Okay,
squad.
Let's talk about it.
I mean, nothing too outlandish. Piers Sweeney, I think, probably taken the...
Was it all green? An emerald suit?
I'd have loved that. No, it looked like it was like... I mean, photography can play tricks, but it looked like it was sort of... It could have been like a silver jacket, but I think more likely it's a camera flash. It's one of those kind of like shiny, like grey jackets, but it's sort of like maybe Jamie Redknapp might wear one on Sky, you know?
Okay, I got it.
Shiny.
Yeah, I can picture that. No one wore like a sequin suit?
No, unfortunately, a lot of separates.
And the women's dresses were all actually pretty... I mean, it's understandable. You're going to go for safe. Those photos are going to be all over the internet.
Yeah. Well, they all look great. There was one, I'm not sure, apologies, I don't know which member of the ladies' team this was, but one was wearing Converse trainers.
Oh, excellent.
And
That's good.
That looked great. But yeah, Sweeney, yeah.
Taylor had, Jake Taylor, had a grey waistcoat and trouser ensemble.
Yeah, nice three-piece suite, a bit of a check on that, window pane check, I think.
Is that what they call it? I haven't seen Matt Taylor. Have you seen Matt Taylor?
Yeah.
Was he wearing the Wenger-style trench coat?
No.
Was he sat on an ice box?
I didn't see, actually, they might have had that at the table for him, I don't know.
I think that's it.
Unconfirmed.
It's like when your uncle comes over for Christmas lunch and he's got a bad back, so you end up with your cousins having to carry in an armchair.
Yeah.
So I think Taylor's the same.
Dad
with his
takes
icebox.
one for the team and sits on the icebox, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly that. We haven't got enough seats, Matt. What can I've got the icebox in the car, don't worry. and then he handed out treats.
Yeah.
Do you think sitting
Christmas
next to the
package.
manager at the award ceremony is annoying or good?
I think it depends on who it is, but I think with Matt Taylor, I think you're pretty safe.
You wouldn't want to be sat next to Wenger, would you?
I think once Taylor's cutting loose, he's probably like good laugh to have around, you know.
Okay, could be.
But yeah, there's a lot of not a huge amount, but quite a few of the old kind of no socks loafers sort of style, which I appreciate. It's probably like you see it a lot, so it must be popular. It's not my cup of tea. Put some socks on.
I would worry that your ankles are in danger. A loafer can have quite a sharp edge.
I don't think the socks providing much protection for that anyway, is it?
Depends what kind of socks you're wearing, Dan.
Well, dress socks, presumably. Very thin. Yeah, but no, if I was going to hand out an award for best dressed...
We don't know if this was an award. We don't think so.
I don't think it was, but maybe next year we could present that award.
Hey, that's a thought.
Provided our invitations that don't go amiss.
I'm slightly concerned that someone who dresses like me, and I know this is the radio.
Oh,
so
you're in big trouble.
I'm in big trouble giving out the best dressed award.
We don't have to give it out. Maybe we could sponsor it.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's the same, actually. I think you do have to have a photo taken.
That's a nightmare then. I'll have to pull the top hat out.
Oh, you know.
You think I'm joking, listeners? I do own a top hat. Okay.
Well, I'll tell you who it is. Hiram Boateng.
Best dressed.
Easy.
He had a nice handkerchief sticking out of his top pocket.
Square.
A pocket square, sorry.
He went to pocket square, which a few others managed. Jake Taylor had a nice little pocket square, but it just, I don't know, suit fit him perfectly. Classic. Black, 3-piece, good shoes. Easy.
Okay, Boateng.
Although I kind of think he's probably the kind of guy who looks good in most things. But yeah, easy winner for best dressed at the
he looked
ECFC
delighted.
Awards.
He did look delighted in those photos. I thought it was good to see.
Well, you would be if you'd scored that goal, wouldn't you? I suppose.
so.
Especially I mean, I'd prefer if those two open goals happened before the
Screamer.
because you would have felt like a bit of vindication. Whereas actually, they happened consecutively after it, and it's a bit like, oh come on, we know what you're capable of.
Yes, indeed.
We know you're capable of pulling off, that kind of goal. We know you're capable of dressing yourself for an award ceremony.
Just put it in the net.
Put it in the net, mate. All right, cool. Yeah, that's my roundup.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's winter football. Low sun. There is very little opportunity to play football. They expect it to be a football match. Dreadful conditions to play football. What did they expect?
So, Dan, I'm a cosmopolitan kind of guy. I got friends in foreign places. I've had a text from my friend Martin, who lives in either Berlin or Mönchengladbach. That's in Germany, listeners. Martin works in a school, right?
Okay.
In Germany.
Right. Very well organised school, I imagine.
I'd imagine so. He's texted me to ask if there's a school in Exeter called Drake School. I was like, no, I don't think so. And that's a Plymouth kind of name, anyway.
It's in Canada, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe. The other Drake. The less famous Francis Drake. You may have heard of him, listeners. Anyway, this is Martin's question. I was like, this is weird. He doesn't text me often. Why is he asking me this? So he works in this school, and the Learning English book in Germany is all about Exeter.
Weird.
It gets weirder. It's all about Exeter City.
Oh, right.
So...
not about the kind of revenge attacks for Dresden then or anything? Nothing
No.
to do with that.
You know, they're moving on. They're doing the right thing.
You're not allowed to talk about that anymore, are they?
So he said, yeah, there's this school in the book, Drake School in Exeter. It's not a school, is there, by this name? So I said, no, what's that about? It's about 4 kids attending this school, and Exeter City FC is also mentioned a lot. The 4 friends meet a new kid after the summer holidays, whose dad is playing for Exeter City FC. They've moved to Exeter from Somalia. Then the player's son gets them free tickets for the match against Manchester United.
This is made up, isn't it?
This is all. Well, it's a fictional book, but
Right.
in Germany, this is the book that kids are reading to learn English.
Why have they chosen Exeter City?
Why have they chosen Exeter City FC? Why have they chosen Somalia? Why have they chosen Exeter, the place?
Yeah.
But based on the Manchester United game.
Yeah. With this fictional Somalian... Have we ever had a Somalian player?
I don't think
we
so.
have.
I don't think I could name a single Somalian player of any kind.
No, maybe that's why they chose him. Sort of like,
Oh, okay. Anyway, so Martin's going to send us some updates on this. He's gone into school this week. He's gonna start scanning the books and sending them to us.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to see it, yeah.
So watch out for...
We could do a dramatic reading of it on the podcast.
Oh, that would be
through
good.
the summer when we've not got anything else to talk about.
I'd like that.
Oh, that's so weird.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
So
I can't even think of... Because I don't know Germany or, fourth tier German football well enough, I can't even think of what the equivalent of that would be.
Well...
When I was in school, it was always... you have your Route Nationale. I did French, that's the kind of French textbook. And
yeah.
There was no mention of,
Yeah,
any
no, we had a
football teams
similar
at all.
one. It was all like, it was kind of Roy of the Rovers style, but it was like, but it wasn't football, it was athletics.
Oh, right, okay.
And then it'd all be like people shouting, Zutalor!
Yeah.
But, yeah, so very strange. Of course, England's a weird place because we've got such a lot of professional football clubs in a way that other countries don't.
Yeah, of course.
So they've obviously chosen it. So if you know about this, listeners, you can tell us about it. We'll have updates.
Yeah, maybe you were brought up in Germany too, or...
Well, maybe the writer of this book is an Exeter City fan.
Oh,
because that's what I do.
It's got to be that, hasn't it?
I would think so.
Or someone who's been here and...
I want to know how rooted in fact it is. Because I get you couldn't have the real school name of a place.
Yeah.
But you could definitely have the street name.
Although you could. I mean, who's stopping you?
Well, yeah.
Getting copyright infringement for, like, a German
No, but you wouldn't want to be
kids.
like, oh, you're making our school look bad.
No, are they slagging it off, are they?
I don't know.
School.
I'm yet to find out.
Yeah, right, weird.
Isn't
Yeah.
that strange? So if you know about this, listeners, you can get in touch with us, as always, Big Bank Pod on Twitter or bigbankpod@gmail.com on the email or on Facebook and those kind of places too. So you can find us there and tell us, yeah, I know about this. Zutalor, I say.
We love you, City, we do. We love you, City, we do. We love you, City, we do. Ooh, City, we love you.
So, listeners, the season, we don't really know where it's drawing. We could be here for another month. Playoff finals set for May 25th, I think.
Yep.
Or we could be all done within the week. So you got to stick with us on this. I, as the hopeless optimist I am, think that Newport won't be able to do it. Think that we will surely do it. It'll be some dramatic game at Forest Green. Probably the narrative will be we'll either play them again twice more, as has happened a few times recently, or we'll get the
Carlisle.
old MK. Yeah, but who knows? You got to stick with us. But we're going to, for now, assume that there's potential for us hitting the playoffs.
Well, it is literally possible, isn't it?
Yep.
There's a few things in the way. And, there's just as much chance of it going, completely wrong, as in Newport win, then we lose to Forest Green, and then it's like, oh, well, there's that.
There's that,
But
yeah.
I think there's just as much chance that the other thing could happen. And I think possibly, you'd like to think, wouldn't you, that if Newport lose to Oldham or draw,
Yeah,
that
would spur us.
would give us even more kind of like
We've got to just
going
do
into
this.
that Forest Green
Yeah.
game, giving us a bit of a lift. So you'd hope,
Yeah.
but not necessarily that that's even enough. I mean, I want us to be in that position, but like I said, they're a good team. Forest Green. I don't know how much are I know Ruben's not playing very much, but how much is Lloyd James getting?
A
in the
lot,
team?
I believe,
Is it?
and they're really pleased with him.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, I think in a way, possibly we've maybe missed him a little bit this season.
I think
at
we
times.
have. I think we have.
That
and to
kind
lose
of player.
him and Tilson, I think.
Yeah.
They both offered something that we don't really have at the minute.
Yeah,
But
They did
James in particular.
neither offered a huge amount in the way of passing or
No.
kind of like creative flair, but Lloyd James used to get a lot of stick.
Yeah,
didn't
I
he?
liked him.
And
I thought he was an
actually
honest
thought-
player. I thought it was
and
a shame.
I thought, and he was frustrating at times, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But it would really depend on the game. Like it would, like some games he'd exactly what you want, and others he's exactly what you don't want. Like if you're all over a team, and they've got then you don't necessarily want or need someone like Lloyd James in there. But obviously he's done well for them, and
Yeah, he has.
They've done well with him. So
And of course, Forest Green are in that such a weird position of having Doige back. So he was gone. He was at Bolton. They was on. I believe the deal was he was on loan, but they were buying him and they were making payments. So they just pulled him back. Bolton is obviously a complete mess.
Yeah.
Must be a nightmare for that player. But he's gone back in, done well. He'll be moving on in the summer, I'd imagine. So it would be like if Stockley came back to us after a month. It's a very strange situation for them, but it's worked. So they've pushed right on. So they're definitely not going to be a walkover, but they are guaranteed playoffs. The only team that aren't guaranteed playoffs, Exeter City, and if Oldham managed to take something off Newport on Tuesday night, and by the time you're listening to this, you might well know what's happened there, then we just got to win at Forest Green, and we're in the playoffs. If Oldham do take something off them, by which I mean 3 points, then they've got every chance. If they win the following Saturday, they'll take the 7th place.
Oh, you mean if Newport win?
Sorry, Newport.
Yeah.
Whereas the others below us, Colchester, etc., if we win, they can't overtake us.
No.
So it's all on that Oldham thing. Flipping hell. It's all on Oldham against my brain.
Newport. I mean, it is
thank
still
you.
an Oldham thing.
Yes.
But yeah, it's more that Newport are the ones who are going to benefit from that if it goes their way. But yeah.
So we just got to think, we'll have an eye on that, but we got to win anyway Saturday and hope that Oldham don't manage to get 6 points.
Yeah, and this all comes down to, I know it's turned around into, we're waiting around to see what they do on their game in hand and stuff. And what it's still always about is probably concentrating on our own results.
Yep.
We've just got to win the games, and if we don't, then we won't, get promoted. Like, that's just the way it goes. And
yeah.
I don't think, as much as I'd love it and I really want us to do it, and I'm I don't think going back to how we were talking about at the start, it's not the end of the world. There's definitely some promise there. We'll see what it looks like next season.
Indeed.
I think there's some good players in there. Bowman's there now. He's not going anywhere. He's going to be around next season, along with a couple of the others. So we'll see.
Indeed. In terms of playoff opponents, we could end up with Bury, although that's unlikely. We can't end up with Tranmere because we'll always finish 7th and they can't finish 4th.
Okay.
So it could be Mansfield, it could be MK, or it's slightly unlikely, but it could be Forest Green. So probably we're looking at either Mansfield or MK. And
do you know what? I know I've said the opposite of this before, but I'd love it. Let's just have MK.
Let's just have them.
At least we can have a bit of drama at the end of the season,
Absolutely.
Like,
if we beat MK and then go to Wembley,
yeah,
that's a dream.
I feel like we've got more.
That's a dream.
I feel like we've got more kind of chance of getting up for that than against the others.
Yeah.
And just a little bit of subtext like we had before. I don't know.
Gives us something to talk about.
Gives us something to talk about for sure. Yeah. And yeah, I don't know.
Well, we'll
Bring
see.
it on.
We'll see, but that would be an interesting thing. Obviously, we're getting ahead of ourselves here to some extent, but actually, it's not an impossible scenario. So we shall see. I do think that us coming in 7th, we've known for a very long time now that it's always going to be playoffs or nothing, whereas Bury, Mansfield or MK as our opponents, they're going to be gutted.
Yeah.
They're going to be gutted. They've got their minds on the beach now, haven't they? They're thinking, if we get that 3rd place, we're on holiday in a week's time.
Yeah.
1 week's time.
Not going through some grueling...
Yes. And still being here in a month's time.
Playoff play and going all the way to, hopefully Exeter or wherever else. They want to be on holiday.
Yeah, Exeter or Forest Green is a bind for either of those teams.
Whereas we're desperate for it.
Yeah.
And who knows? All these psychological kind of elements of these kind of games. I'm not sure the kind of the maths kind of back it up really, but whether it makes a difference or not. But you'd like to think so. It definitely makes. From a fan's point of view, it definitely kind of makes a difference, doesn't it?
It does. And I know there's talk of, obviously, Tranmere came up last year, so they're just well, actually, anything's good this year. I'm not saying they won't want to win, but that's kind of a different thing. And then Forest Green, I know there's some talk of, are we ready for it yet? So who knows? Who knows? But exciting times potentially ahead.
Yeah.
Well, listeners, thanks very much for sticking with us. My name's John. I've been here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Cheers.
We'll see you soon.